trick right out of this wicked black and into bright sand, straight toward the wall.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. This is the weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. Sometimes it could be a couple minutes, sometimes it could be a few hours. You just never know. So we just hang out. And for the last few weeks, for the last 4 weeks, I've had a guest with me. And this week, I was going to get trying to see if I can get a guest too. Next week, we're going to have RezoCoder joining us. Hopefully we'll get RezoCoder next week. Last week we had Apavelli, and 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks prior to that we had Rodrigo. So today it's just me again, just me, all by my lonesome. Just you, me in my flat. Just all by myself. I'm gonna be. Well, you get it. So anyway, but it's been a good week. It's been a good week. It was one of these days where it's really warm in the flat. I'm actually a bit flustered because I got this new thing so that I could plug my mirrorless camera, my Canon M50, and do that for the live stream. So I upgraded my eCam account and everything, and then when it all came down to it, everything set up wasn't working. So it was like, damn it! So then I have to quickly get the webcam out and everything like that. So the picture's not as cool as I thought it was gonna be. So, which is again so much inside baseball, not the kind of stuff you guys would notice maybe, but it's like you buy something new. I bought like this thing so that I could use the DSLR, and it was working earlier, but it wasn't working now because I didn't have an extension cord, which is, isn't it boring? It's a boring story, isn't it? Anyway, I'm glad you guys can make it. Let's see, who do we have here? We've got HM Newman Riaz. Says waiting, sir. Good. Well, we're here. We started. Newman, are you the one who sent me this thing on Instagram? You have to send it to me again to see whether or not we can actually do it. So if you could send it through on here, the details of it. Bart Rack, hey Bart, how's it going? Happy Friday, Eric at Alpha Male Coders. That's us, man. We're just, because we're just alpha males. Yo, what's up, bro? Hey, Alpha Male Coders, does anyone have any idea about a message on AdMob that popped up? Did they say Apple App Tracking Transparency Framework? That was my video today. It's kind of like a weird thing with iOS 14 where they're going to start saying, oh, do you want to allow this app to run IDFA and track you on different websites and stuff like that? Which is very much looks to me like the GDPR consent thing that we had to do a few years ago. Except a lot of people didn't do the GDPR and just thought, well, if they catch me, they catch me. And now it's part of the operating system. So if you are going to have those IDFA identifiers, and I don't think you could opt out of it. If you have an AdMob, I think you have to have it. So it's like, so all of a sudden we're all going to have to ask that weird question about whether or not we want to allow it. So, but yeah, that's kind of a weird one. Mega Man is third. Eric, what are your thoughts on the new Google Play Pass? Are you going to implement it? I looked at that and I have no plans to implement it, right? I don't think my apps are good enough. I don't think my games especially are good enough to go on the Play Pass. And I probably should look into it, but it's like, so again, a lot of my games are done in Corona SDK, which is now Solar 2D, which apparently is it's still live and breathing. Although we'll find out if it's alive and breathing with this whole iOS 14 thing, because I'm sure we're going to have to update those libraries for the AdMob or any ad network to allow those IDFA permissions to go through, or to be able to update the AdMob version, right? So we're going to find out then if the Solar 2D ecosystem is going to be able to keep up with those changes when they're relying on cloud sourcing. So that's why. So when I saw that, I wasn't all that interested in doing it myself, but I'd be interested to hear how you guys get on with it. Because I did do it with Google Play for Families. I did all that kind of stuff. I don't think I really saw anything. Google Play for Education. Every time there was something new, I said, yeah, let's get those in there. But I never really saw much of a benefit from it. And that's kind of what. And I know I know Play Pass is different, but I kind of think of the same thing. Wallpaperly says, Eric, what do you prefer, Facebook ads or Google ads for app install campaigns? My preference is Facebook ads because you could target it better, right? Especially if you have something that's really niche. However, it's more expensive. Facebook ads are way more expensive. One more question, Eric. Which would be better, AdMob or Unity ads for my app? I've never used Unity ads, so I don't know. I think I've used AdMob, AppLovin, Facebook Audience Network. And in the beginning, I was using all of them, and then I just had all this money distributed everywhere. Oh, which reminds me that so one of the things you're going to start seeing on the descriptions to the for those guys who read the descriptions to the videos is I finally got around to start setting up affiliate links, which is something a lot of you guys have been telling me I should do, but it's not going to be like I'm going to like set up like which tools I use. So like somebody asked if I use Canva for the thumbnails, which I do. So I have an affiliate link for Canva Pro, and that's hopefully what I'll do this weekend and start setting all that stuff up just to get like a little bit of extra revenue. But I don't want to get to the point where I have sponsorships from tools that don't actually, or for products I don't actually use or care about. Like there's one, I talked about this before, where the ASO tool gave me like the ASO tool called thetool.com or whatever. They gave me like a year long, all the bells and whistles, worth thousands of pounds, access to their tool. And I was like, I wasn't that impressed with it, so I never did. And then if you have this affiliate link and you'll get 50% of what everybody brings in and all this stuff, it was really cool. And I was like looking at it, really trying to think, but I could not recommend it to you guys because I don't really see the benefit of it. It's expensive and it's like if the thing about these ASO tools, and again, I know there's people out there who use ASO tools all the time that say, oh, they're fantastic. How could you not use Sensor Tower? How could you not use mobile action, right? But I'm like, because every time I have, like, I've never really seen the benefits of it. I mean, it's like I always think about in SQL Server has this thing called Query Analyzer where you could go through and analyze a query like all the way through, which is useful to be able to do that, but at some point it's academic. If the query's not faster, it's not faster. If I'm paying for a tool that gives me keyword suggestions and I'm implementing those keyword suggestions and I'm not getting more revenue, then it's all academic. I can say I'm doing all the right things, but it's not working. So then you move on to something else. How's that for a tangent? Apavelli, hey, happy Friday. Enjoyed being a guest last week. Yeah, it was good having you here last week. I know it's Apavelli, I nearly called you this week. Thinking I should get somebody this week. I was gonna have you do it again, and maybe that'll be a thing. Like it'll be like baseball games where we have like a 3-game series, and then like Rodrigo was here for 3 weeks, and you were here for 3 weeks. But I thought, now we'll try to do it on my own again this week. We'll try to do like a shorter one and everything like that. But yeah, thanks so much. It was really good having you here last week, and I want to do it again. So yeah. Definitely we could do this in the next so next week Rezo Coder is going to be here, but hopefully next week maybe, or the week after maybe come back on. Shujin Lukic, hey Shujin, how's it going? Good evening. I'm already sweating, man. Whew. All right, James, happy Friday, James, how's it going? Let's see, Gilham Duche says, hello Eric, happy Friday everyone. Hey Gilham, how's it going? Let's see, Wallpaper Lee says, is ECPM and RPM the same? So ECPM is earned. What is ECPM? I know this. ECPM stands for per mil. Oh God, ECP. So the ECPM is your. I consider them to be the same, right? But they're probably something to say. The other one is revenue per mil. So is the app. So the other one is clicks per mil, estimated clicks per mil. Is that what it is? But they're not the same. They're not exactly the same, but they're very similar. So like, I don't want you to gloss over that because I'm sure there's like a really exact answer. And believe it or not, I think I've done a video on this before. I may have done a video on this like a few years ago, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. Fist007 says, what's up, Eric? Hey, how's it going, Fist007? You're the man, Eric. Thank you very much. Did I say it? Did I read it exactly how you wrote it? Matt Glover, hey, how's it going, Matt? Swami Nathan says, happy Friday, mate. You're a silent follower, and you are my motivation, not only for the tech, but the way you take on life. Thanks very much. It's just the way I take on life. Oh, my goodness. I don't know about that. Here I am. I'm sweating in my flat because I have the windows closed because I live on this busy intersection, like I would say, I make the same apology every. I have a busy intersection, so I open the window. I have to close the windows, otherwise we would hear sirens going by like every few minutes. Every time I'm on a Zoom call, I had a Zoom call this morning with clients, and it was like, the sirens go by. You have to put myself on mute or pretend like it's not me, and everyone's like looking confused, like where's that coming from? I'm like, just it's me. But I appreciate that. Thanks, Swami. Sorry, Chord Funk, nearly missed it. Says, this week might have been good, but ooh boy, what a year. That's true. I remember doing the video talking about how much I hated 2018. It seemed like my son brought this up to me today. It's like 2016 was like a rough year, right? 2018 for me was a very rough year because, everything started to go a bit like everything started to slow down. Was it 2018 or 2019? Where I think it was 2019 where the Brexit was supposed to happen, and then that got delayed and delayed. And this year I started off by saying, that's it. I'm no more being lethargic, no more sitting around doing nothing, no more sitting around and just, this is going to be Action Eric. Action Eric this year, I swear to you, I'm going to do more. I'm going to do more videos, I'm going to do more apps, I'm going to do more, and I'm going to stop sitting on my butt. And then COVID happened. Like, it was like, oh my God, right? Can you believe what's going on? Right? It's like every little thing you try to do is just difficult. And nothing, let's see, I was going to say nothing is better, right? You try to go, like the restaurants are opening now here. I started going to the gym again this week. That was a big thing for me. Started to go back to the gym, and everything just is kind of the same, but suckier, with the exception of meetings, because meetings are online now. Like, everybody has meetings online, and you could tell the people who are not used to it because they still think it's like science fiction. Can you believe we're having this meeting on the cloud? Can you believe the cloud? And you're like, dude, we've been doing this for years. Yeah, but the cloud, can you believe it? Right? And you're like, so it's nice to bring those people like up to like, that's one thing. That's one good thing about the pandemic. If you can think of anything else that's good about it, let me know. But the one good thing about it is we brought all those people that were still living in the 1990s up until today. Let's see. Fist Double says, don't mind my excitement. I got a very productive week. Oh, good. Yeah, my week has been productive. My week, like, I have a contract where I've kind of run out of work to do. So I'm kind of like, so I said, well, I'll just take some days off. So I've been working on some other stuff, but it's been nice and relaxing. Chord Funk says, yo, Eric, you look up to the, did you look up the new iOS thing, federated account or whatever the new thing was? All I did was I read the, the federated account. Oh yeah, that I haven't read yet. So I was thinking about the IDFA thing. No, yeah, I logged into iOS yesterday. It says from the August 28th, which is soon, you gotta like use a federated account. No idea what that means. I still don't know what it is. Right? It's one of those things where it's different when Apple keeps changing things and Google keeps changing things, and you have clients and you're like you want your clients to know that you know what's going on, and something new will come up. You're like, what the hell does that mean? So I don't know what the federated account thing is, but thanks for reminding me. I have to look into that. Let's see. Gaming with Jake says, oh, you use Lua? I do. Lua's a strange one because when I started doing so I started doing apps. I started doing some native Android, and then I had some developers who I said, I want to do a game, and they said, okay, we could do it in Corona. So we started doing it in Corona, and these guys were just, oh my God, it was such a mess. It was such a mess, the work that they did. So I took it over, and then I learned Lua. And the nice thing about Lua is syntactically, it's different than JavaScript and C# and Java, where you have the curly brackets and everything. So it's a bit more like, to me, it seemed a bit more like VB, where you have the ifs and the end ifs. So you got end if, or whatever your loops. Or it's not end if, it's end, right? Now I'm blanking, but yeah. So I've done a lot of stuff in Lua, and in fact, for a while, that's all we did was stuff in Corona. And I would have like applications where I'd have a client come to me, right, and I would give it to a developer, and they would say they would do it in Unity. And I'm sure this is not a knock on Unity. I think Unity's probably would have done it better, but the developers were just terrible. So then in the end, I would I wrote like an app for a client, which the developers had quoted me would be like 6 weeks, and I did it in like 4.5 days in Lua in Corona, because it was just, and when it wasn't, they were just really like, those, it sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. It was like that kind of thing. Whereas it was a lot of late nights, but it was being able to turn around in Lua. And the thing that I don't like about Lua is it's not a language I'll use anywhere else. Like with JavaScript, so if I'm doing Ionic or even React Native or something in JavaScript, I know that I could do that on the server too with Node.js, right? I'm not swapping languages all the time, right? But yeah, I like Corona. I say I never use Lua as a scripting language, only in the framework of Corona. And I keep looking at other stuff too that does it. Water Paper Lee says, Eric, are you using Firebase database on your any app? Yes, I'm using Firestore. Not the real-time database. I'm using Firestore for one of the applications that I'm working on. In fact, that's when I was talking about. I did a video this week saying I pulled an all-nighter on Sunday night. That was all Firebase Cloud Functions and Firestore. So it was getting to my Cloud Functions. They should have been having everything. So, and that's the nice thing about Firebase is you have the authentication, you have push notifications, you have the Firestore, and you have the functions. So it was like and using Firestore, like I've always been an API guy, and my whole thing was like, I'm going to write, so I'm going off I'm geeking out on you guys big time, but that's kind of what we do here, right? So I built, my whole thing was, I'm going to do the functions as my API layer, and my app is only going to communicate with the API layer. However, when you're using Firestore, that actually takes a lot, like you kind of cut yourself off at the knees, because it's so much easier to bind. You don't have like the real-time updates and everything like that. So in the end, I was like, okay, fine, I'll go straight to Firestore unless I need something special done. So like I would use functions if I needed to trigger something. So if I added something to a collection, a document, if I had something to a document in Firestore, then I would want that to trigger a push notification to another user. So that's what it would do. So it would trigger the push notifications. And I also had this external API that I needed to use for a client. So that was all done through Firestore. So Cloud Functions. So the trigger points were just updating that. And the real problem I had was trying to call a Cloud Function from a Xamarin application on Android, because I couldn't get the async callbacks working. So in the end, I had to change that to be writing to a document. So I'd have a document of commands. The nice thing about having a document of commands is I had a history of the commands that actually went out, or the API calls and everything, because it wasn't like it just happened and didn't happen, and I didn't have to write to a log, because it was just write an action to the table. A trigger picks it up, launches that function based on the trigger, it calls our API, sends out the push notifications to the users, and then marks it as done, right? And then it's like I have that like manifest of everything that happened. That was answering that question too much, wasn't it? Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. But it was fun. It was fun. That was the kind of thing what keeps you at 3 o'clock in the morning. I guess because I can say, oh man, I worked at 3 o'clock. This sucks. I worked at 3 o'clock in the morning. Dude, man, it was fun. I was like in the zone. I was just like, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock. I had like the TV on over here, right? And I was kind of watching TV on like the side. So I get like, you ever watch TV and code at the same time, right? You catch bits of it, right? But you're like, you don't even know what's on. Like shows have changed. If you put like on a box set, like episodes will have changed, and you're just like, it's just kind of there, right? Like it's almost like, it's like that. It's like when you wake up in the morning to your clock radio. For those of you guys who are old enough to have clock radios, and then you dream about the song that's on the radio. That's what it's like when you're coding and you have the TV on in the background, if that makes sense. Gaming with Jake says, hey, Gaming with Jake says, is there a way I can make a mobile apps in Python, Tinker, or something similar? I don't know Python, unfortunately, Jake. It's I've never used it. From what I've heard, people said you can use Python in an application, but I don't know. See, I'm using Xamarin now because it was for a client project. We've done stuff in Ionic, so a lot of the stuff, that's layers that sit on top of that. It's good to have it, but I'm not aware of what frameworks use Python, and if there are some out there, how well supported they are. It's something to look into. Wallpaperly says Java is the best for making Android apps, not Python or Lua. That's true, but yeah, if you're only going to make Android, the nice thing about Lua and using Corona is that you're not just making it for Android, you're making it for both platforms. Jake says, I code Lua modified, but when I use Corona, it's way different. Cool. I've only known Corona, and I always think whether or not I could take those Lua skills and move them to another framework, like, what is it? Is it Mua Love or something like that? Or there's a few other Lua frameworks out there for games, and I can't remember. I'd have to Google it, but it's I know there's a few out there, and I've looked at them thinking, if Corona or Solar 2D or whatever dies, how easy would it be to move to something else? And it's not so much the skills, because I could pick up different skills. It's the existing legacy code that I'm more concerned with. Apathy says, let me know. I'll be glad to be on again. Yeah, that'll be fun. Gillum says, I'm good, Eric. Thanks. Cool. Estimated clicks per mil. That's what it is. Let's see. Gaming with Jake says 68 people. 68. What? There's six. What do you mean 68 people? 70. What, are there 70 people here? No, I see 36. How do I ask questions and he answers? I don't know. No idea. No, I try to get to every question, Jake. So there was a thing. So a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we had somebody on who asked. He would come on and ask like 17 questions or 20 questions, and he'd number them. And it was like, in the end, I had to say, like, I answered 10 of them, and I said, I'm going to answer up till 10 because we have to save these for another time, or book a consultancy or something like that. Because it's not fair that I answer like spend all my time answering these in-depth questions on somebody else. And he got really mad. In fact, he made a comment today on the community tab just saying, I'm not answering his questions, but I've answered so many. But I try to get to all of them, right? The live stream is not so big that I can't answer everyone. I think if you guys, the fact you guys are here, I really appreciate it. And try, we're just hanging out. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer, right? Pixel Waves, and if I'm guessing, I'll tell you I'm just guessing. Pixel Wave says, hey, Eric, it's been 2 months since AdMob planned place a limit issue on my account. Should I give up for AdMob and switch to another ad network? Maybe. I mean, if you put in a mediation networks, I would release another version. Have you released another version in the 2 months? Because at least, release another version and then go in there and see if you request them to reevaluate it. At the same time, put mediation in there, because the mediation should get, at least if it's not going in there, you can switch it to go somewhere else. So pick another network, go through a mediation network so they could go to something else. Byron Lovely. Hey, Byron, you changed your profile picture. 68 must be a record. Never seen it higher than 40 before. I'm only seeing 39 on the eCam. So it's 76. Is there new people here? If you're new here, say... say rad. Just say, yo, Eric, I'm new and rad. No, okay, the alpha male, say, sup, bro. Okay, if you're new here, say, sup, bro. Or if you're just silently watching the background and never comment, just say, sup, bro. Let's see, Susie says, just see 2020 in Beirut. Oh, yeah, 2020, yeah. Oh, yeah, God, yes. I mean, the 2020 in Beirut, it's like what do the rest of us have to complain about? What, the gym was closed, or we have to wear masks in public? Yeah, but yeah, I totally take that. Hi, son. Game Blue Jake says, wow, Overpass apps. Okay. 81 now. Is it really? I'm seeing 40. All right, 84. I don't know. Let's see. Chill, dude. Okay, so Muhammad always says, how do I rank my app? Every good keyword is too hard to rank for in Google Play. Sorry, I've got my window open. If you guys see that line of light coming in. So how do I rank for my keyword? Every keyword is hard to rank for in Google Play. Google Play is crowded, right? And if you can't rank for those keywords, you have to find different ones. I mean, find alternative ones. If every good one, so like I don't think you'll be able to rank well for fun game, or you won't be able to flashlight or anything like that. Not unless you got like a lot of reviews and you were able to, a lot of reviews and a lot of backlinks and a lot of downloads. You were able to knock the top person off their spot who gets it organically. Oh, thanks everybody for smashing the like button too. I really appreciate it. Smashing that like button, bro. This is our alpha male channel. By the way, I know that there are some women who watch the channel, although it's mostly men. I've seen the stats. It's mostly men. So we may just hang out and be men. I might just deepen my voice a little bit. We'll just be men today. Hey, what's up, bro? I might spit. I might scratch myself. We can talk about sports in a minute. Let's see. MB. What does MB stand for? Shahaba says, happy Friday. Happy Friday. God, it's Friday. Let's see. Gaming with Jake says, what do you recommend as a Python developer to do? As a Python developer, it can't be that difficult to learn a different language if you need to. I mean, the constructs of coding are, you're going to carry them from language to language to language. So like for me, I started off in Visual Basic, and Visual Basic is, going from Visual Basic to C# was a huge leap, but it wasn't that big a leap. I mean, still, you know what operators are. Conceptually, they might change, but you know what operators are. You know what functions are. You know what methods are. You know what, your loops. Your operators. You may know dependency injection, interfaces, all that kind of stuff. And it's not going to be too much of a leap for you to go to another language if you have to, Jake. So Gillum says, well, back end and learn some front end if you want some autonomy. Yeah. For Python, So for Python, you need Flask. tkinter is a desktop GUI library. So look at this. What's Flask? I'll share my screen here. Flask is a micro framework written in Python. Oh, it looks like obviously written by a developer. Look at this. There's okay. So what does micro mean? A Flask installation to get quick start. Depends on the Jinja template. I see all of this Python stuff is way over my head. Install Flask, minimal application. Let's see what Hello World. Oh my God. Yeah, this is this looks really difficult. It just All right, I think this is way over my head. It is. Let's see. Ashtrown Minecraft. Hey, Ashtrown, how's it going? Hello, I have a problem. My AdMob account got limited for account being accessed. I don't know what to do. It happened the same day as I bought 100 installs for my Google Ads. AdMob is 90% of my revenue. I think, like I said, put some. So you got 100 installs. So you bought 100 installs. We say you bought 100 installs. Was that through like advertising, or was that like you actually bought the installs? So was it like the legitimate way, or was it the non-legitimate way? And second, what I would do is, if you did get 100 new installs in one day and it looks suspicious to them, it may have been the algorithm. I would think you go into the AdMob console and get them to reevaluate it. And also make sure that you're not when you're running it locally, you have your debug build. Now, if you purchase them from like from an install farm or something like that, who knows if they're using more than one device, right? It could look suspicious if it's all coming from the same IP address or the same, whatever. So I don't know how that kind of stuff works. But if you're talking about like you purchase the installs through paid acquisition, through you run ads and that kind of stuff, then that's legitimate. But if you go to like one of those places, you don't. Marco Soares, hey Marco, how's it going? Says, hey Eric, have you taken a look at the new Flutter update? I saw a good chunk of performance improvements in my app. I haven't. So like, I have an application at the moment that I'm working on, like I talked about the Firestore and the Firebase functions. And initially I started doing it in Flutter. I was like, cool, perfect. This is gonna be like my big, this is where I'm gonna sink my teeth into Flutter and do it. And there was a bug with Firestore or something like that. So as soon as I added the Firestore libraries, the thing just slowed to a halt, which was surprising. And it's one of those kind of things where I found myself like in all these forums, when you get into the forums and people saying, oh, all you need to do is downgrade to this, all you need to do this. And they're like, dude, in the end, I moved over to Xamarin. So, I mean, I will have a look at that, but I didn't notice it. Hamza boy, hey Hamza, how's it going? Let's see. Gilhelm says, when was the last time you built an app for yourself as a side project? How do you manage to keep being motivated? Gilhelm, to be totally honest with you, it's been a while. I've started loads. I started loads of them, but actually like getting it across the finish line, I haven't done because it's the client work takes up so much time. And I just been, when was the last time I did? I guess it would have been 2018. I think it was 2018. A lot of them have just been updating my existing applications. So just making sure I update the AdMob libraries, add a few tweaks here, and then re-release those. But it's been a while. So how do I keep myself, how do you keep being motivated? Same way we all do, I guess. It's not like I'm, like I wish I could say that I was releasing a new thing every week. And for a while I was. And then Apple started saying, you're releasing too much, and they started to really put up. So I'm waiting for that big idea, that big thing that I want to build, and that I find it's actually worth doing. Right? It's because it's gonna be investing a lot of time and money. I mean, time is money, but so it's gonna be out like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna push all client work aside so I can focus on this one thing, either doing it myself or hire somebody to do it. And if it's something I really want done right, I'll have to do it myself. So, and it is. I mean, it's a big investment to do. So it's got to be something that is that I really believe is going to work. So. And at the moment, I've had a few things which I kind of started, and then like I wanted to have something. You got all these subliminal. So I'm gonna tell you guys what my app idea was now, because I'm never getting around to do this. So one of them was like something to create subliminal audios, like just being able to have like a bunch of royalty-free background music, and then you record your audio, and then just have it. You being able to adjust where that plays, so you can play it to yourself at night. So you say something like, I'm a badass. You are a badass. You are so cool. Everybody likes that t-shirt with your company name on it. Don't let them tell you otherwise. That kind of stuff. And then you just listen to it over and over again, right? And just create those, and then maybe add videos to it, and that would be a big subscription thing. And when I start working on it, I'm like, that's when, as soon as you start focusing on that one project you want to do for yourself, that's when everything starts to creep in, and it's like, oh, but we need you to do this. We need you to do this. And it's like, oh, that's a lot of money. I should probably not turn that down. And then you go to it. So, and keep you motivated. I tell you what, I have a video about this going out on Monday. So I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but I've done videos for the last 3 days in a row. Whew, yes, and I got one ready for Monday. So I'm trying to get back into routine. So the thing I did this week, which was like, I don't know if you guys can see, I've got this weight bench back here and everything behind me, which I've been using throughout the whole pandemic when everything was shut down. And I thought I'm still pretty strong. I'm still doing really well. And I canceled my gym membership because I got the direct debit started back up again. And I thought, oh man, I paid for this month. I'll cancel it so it doesn't do next month. And then this week I thought, well, maybe I'll just go check to see what it's like. And it's like empty. There's hand wash stations everywhere. They got the wipes everywhere. And I've been the last 3 days, and feels good to get up in the morning and just get to the gym again. Because, I started to realize the reason I said I wasn't going to go to the gym again is because I'm getting lethargic. Like, it's like, I didn't like going to the gym to begin with. I easily talk myself out of going unless I make it like a priority that I have to go today, right? Or like it's 7:00, I have to get down there. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. If I ever try to put it off to later in the day, it never happens. So the last 3 days I've been doing it, and also getting the videos done, and I'm just trying to get a bit more routine into everything, and just because ultimately it's fun to do. But let's see. Steve H. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Eric, do you create apps that target children such as games? Any tips regards to monetization, use ads or in-app purchase? I don't. Well, actually, I guess they do kind of target children, like the language learning games. And we had one called How I Met Santa. But when all this COPPA stuff came out, I was like, I didn't want to deal with all that. So I said, it's only 13 and over. And Google Play actually removed those applications, and you have like a child in the like, it's funny, the algorithm will get you. It says you have a child on the icon, right? And I was like, or you have cartoon characters on the icon, which is true. So think, do I only want to do the icon? Has it really made that much money to do it? And then I have another one where they said you actually mention in the description that children will love it or something like that. Like it was for the Arabic bubble bath. And I thought, oh yeah, I guess I did, right? So I'm trying, no, it's not meant for children. So I've been trying to do that just mainly because I haven't looked into what like the COPPA and everything is. And I know you got whole ad things, you got different stuff and different, like COPPA's the California thing, isn't it? So it's like different places have different things. So I thought, no, if I just make it for 13 and older, it'll just make my life easier. But then, so really I haven't. I mean, I have, but then when all that legislation came in, I set it so to 13 and older. Monetizing on a child is so hard. Yeah, and that's another thing, right? You don't want to show ads to children. I've had people who come to me, like clients who come to me, and they want to do an app for children, and they're asking how to monetize it. I'm like, I don't know. Serving ads to kids is, I mean, even if it was allowed, would you really want to do it? They can't afford to buy anything. Sure, they could click, but that doesn't help the advertisers at all. And if you have all this in-app purchase and stuff, they'd have to get their parents' approval and everything. So, and that's why I think when it comes to like a children's game would probably be better for just like not in-app purchases, not advertisements, just straight out, just buy it. And then you have the whole thing of whether or not somebody would be willing to buy it without actually having tried it first. Let's see. CEO of Swag. Hey, CEO of Swag says, opinion of Epic Games suing Apple and Google. Okay, good question. I was going to do a video about this week, and then I thought, that's last week's news. But you know what? So last week on the live stream, we kind of talked about this a little bit, and I was kind of like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's the terms and conditions say 30% and everything, and then I started, really starting to read up on it, and I was like, actually, I think it was awesome. I mean, the fact that Epic Games, like Fortnite's the biggest thing in the world, and for Epic Games to say, okay, we're going to put this in there. We know that they're going to remove it. And as soon as they do, we're making them the bad guy. They filed a lawsuit immediately. It's like they had everything ready. And that ad they had with the 1984 stuff for Apple that they released, I thought that was badass. I was like, it was almost like, that is cool, right? And but then I keep going back to the fact that, going into this, when they put it on these platforms, they knew that they had that 30%. That 30% charge. However, they're not just mobile applications. They're everywhere. So like the fact that they want to sell the credits on their own website and have a link to that website, that makes total sense, right? Why should they have to, why should they have to charge the same amount in all places? I mean, they should be able to allow people to go to the website and get it for cheaper. And that's where it gets kind of that's where it gets kind of sleazy, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen. There's certain things where we talk about, like I'm totally, I'm so wishy-washy on this because I'm so on the fence. On the one side, I can see that Apple, they created this platform. They created this audience. Google created this platform. They created this audience, right? They deserve to have, they set the terms of that relationship, and it's been the same since the beginning, that 30%, right? On the other hand, don't you think it's strange that it's 30% all around? Like, they're not trying to undercut each other. There's no competition there. They've sort of just agreed that, yeah, that seems fair, right? That does seem a bit like, dodgy, right? And being able to put Fortnite or any applications on their phone makes their platform and their phones more valuable, right? And for Apple and for Google, we're already paying for the membership things. I mean, if they want to charge us something, why don't they charge us for the memberships, right? And rather than Google doing it 25% as a one-off, why not do it all the time? I mean, they're hosting our stuff, right? But that 30% is a big thing. So I kind of like the fact that Epic has done this, and I'm watching this like I'm watching a prize fight. Like, I'm thinking, like, if I were to boycott Apple and Google and remove my apps from it, it would be like, who would notice? Like, nobody would notice with me, right? But the fact that, people losing Fortnite, that's, everybody notices, right? And this is kind of thing because it's been so mainstream. Like, whereas before, I've had clients come to me and they didn't know anything about this 30%. They're always surprised when I said, well, actually, if it's an in-app purchase, Apple gets 30%. That's ridiculous. That's a huge amount, right? But now everybody knows, right? Everybody knows what they get. And will it make a difference? I don't think it will. I mean, Apple took on Flash, right? I remember when the iPad came out and they said iPad's not going to support Flash. iPhone's not going to support Flash. And Flash at the time in 2010, and people have argued with me on this, but I remember what it was like. Flash was cool. Silverlight was like the Microsoft version of Flash, and I was a Silverlight developer, and I was hoping that would kind of pick up. And there were a lot of Flash applications out there. But when the iPad came in, they said, no, we're going to export Flash. It's a drain on battery. It's a bad user experience. It's going to ruin our platform, all that kind of stuff. Then HTML5, which was kind of building up, really took off because all these Flash developers left that behind and moved on to HTML5. So they were able to take on Adobe Flash. All these websites that were built in Flash, and they were like, we don't care, right? We don't care. It's bad on our platform. So I know I'm kind of going on. That's just my opinion on that. So I'm really interested to see how it is. I kind of feel like, I'm glad that Epic is doing it. I'm glad that Epic is doing it because if anybody could do it, if anybody has a clout, it's them. But I don't think they're going to be successful in changing things, to be honest with you. But it's going to be fun to watch. Fitzgerald said, Eric, I'm kind of wondering, how do you handle client training when you deliver app? Please don't be shy on the details. So client training. So one of the, so I've got all these video ideas that I need to get done. But one of them is about support. So when you deliver an application to a client and you have to train them on it, most of the time what I'll do is I'll do a video because I'm a video guy. I'll open up Camtasia. I can show them how to use it in like 10 minutes, right? I don't want to write a 100-page document. I just want to say, okay, click on here, it does this, click here, it does this. And sometimes that's good enough, right? And I'm not, and it's up to them to train their users and to train their stuff. There's like, my agreement is not to train their users. My agreement is to train them, and they can train their users. So I've had it before where I've had clients ask me if I would do a video for their end users, and I'll say, sure. And then it becomes like a bigger piece of work than the application itself, because it'll be like, oh, instead of this, could you have said this? Could you say this? Can you say this? And you're like, dude, I'm just doing this as a favor, right? And in the end, it was like, you guys could do whatever. You can brand it the way you want. You can say it the way you want. You can use whatever vocal inflections you want to use, right? But in the end, like, it's you. It's between you and your client, and my relationship is between me and you. And the same comes with support, right? A lot of times I'll have clients come to me, and I'm going to do a video about this, so try to act surprised. I have clients come to me and say, oh, we've got this user who it says it's crashing. I mean, okay, well, why is it crashing? He goes, well, I don't know. It's just not working. Could you call him? And I'm like, no, I am not the call a user guy, right? I am the third line support, if anything, right? You come to me when you could tell me which version of phone it's on, which the platform version. And I go, well, how do we know that? So somebody's got to call them. Somebody's got to get that information from them. And ideally, you tell me how to replicate that error, right? Because it is not up to me to go through and do all the detective work, right? And again, this is the video I want to do. It's like in the movies where you have the detective and then you have the beat cop, right? Beat cop is first line support, right? They go out and they get the statement, right? They ask all the questions, they get all that, they fill in all the sheets, and then it comes to you and you have to figure out what's going on. And ideally, there's that other layer in between you because those questions are going to come again and again, and you have somebody who knows that, who's read the FAQ, and they can answer those kind of questions. And then when it comes to you, it's got to be something serious, right? First line, you have first line support who are not very technical, but they're much better with people than developers are. And then you've got second line support who are, they've answered the same questions again and again, and they can do like a little bit more digging. And then third line support is, dude, we just can't figure this out. We've tried everything and we just cannot figure out why this is happening. Can you have a look at it? And that's where you get when it gets to you. So a lot of the time when you get those, and the same with client training, right? I showed you guys how to use it. You guys, we could either do it through a Zoom call, or we could do it through, documentation. I have done documentation before for client training, but it's not, I'll do it if I think they're going to read it. To me, it's easier just to do a video, right? Just to film something and say, here's how you use this, here's how you use this, or let's have a Zoom call, I'll show you how to do it. But we'll record the Zoom call, and then you can have somebody on your side do the writing, right? Not that I can't write, I'm a pretty good writer, but it's not, it's not what you're paying me to do. You're paying me to produce this application. So, and I know documentation is important, but there's developer documentation and there's the client documentation. And I don't want someone, I've been out of university for a while. I don't need somebody, proofreading my stuff and then saying, can you change this to this? It's like, nah, I'm the developer. You get somebody else to write that client documentation. If that's what you want. Let's see. Gilhelm says, I use a mediation network. AdMob does mediation as well. Yes, it does. Adrown says, I'm using Appadeal. Appadeal should be able to go with something else, though. AdMob is limited too. So, isn't Appadeal, you have other ads through Appadeal too, so you could have it go to one of the other ones? All right. Oh, cool. Kevin Scorey. Sup, bro? Sup, Kevin? Here we go. Steve H. Sup, bro? Sup, Steven? Mohammed. What's up, bro? Sup? Gilhelm. Sup, bro? But I'm actually usually silent and not there every week. All right. Sup? Sup, Gilhelm? Sup, CEO of Swag? Sup, Guido? Ooh, that's hard on the throat. Sup? Oh, Hamza Boy says, Eric, do you know any solution for the limiting ads in AdMob? It takes a lot of time. I get this question all the time, and everybody seems to have this issue, right? I think, so what I would do is, and if you haven't done this yet, tell me, or if you have done this already, tell me, is release another version and get them to review it again, right? Because you say, okay, there was a problem or whatever, and do that. Make sure that when in your testing, you have the test device as your actual device. Because if you're sitting there and running it again and again, as we do iterative development, where I'm constantly checking it to see what it does. If you have it on a physical device and you're checking it again and again, and it's you, then it's going to look a bit suspicious. So you need to make sure you have that, your current device, your testing device, as the test device specified in the code. And other than that, you're going to have to get them to do it. And tell your friends, don't click on the ads because you think you're helping me out. This AdMob limit, it happens to a lot of people. It has happened. I'm going to get this question every week. And I just install from Google owned product ads. Vinay, sup, bro? Sup, Vinay? Vinay Kumar says, what do you predict about the market moving forward towards subscription-based software platform? What is the best niche to do SaaS? Have you read the books, The Automatic Customer and Subscribed? I've read The Automatic Customer. I don't think I've done Subscribed. Actually, I don't know if I read The Automatic Customer either. But I'm confusing that with something else. I think it's The Automatic Millionaire or something like that. It's one of these. But no, I have. I think a lot of businesses are going this way, and it makes total sense. Especially, talk about the fact that if you're this goes back to the support issue. If you release an application to a client and they pay a one-off thing and they support it themselves, that makes sense. But if it's something that they're going to come back to you 6 months from now saying server's down, then you need to be able to recoup those costs. So that's kind of, if you do not do a subscription-based thing, then you need to support it for a certain period. A lot of times with the applications, the in-app purchases, and you have those non-subscription stuff, and they just unlock a feature, that's fine if everything's contained within the application. If you have a server, you have ongoing server costs, then it's not, you're going to end up paying more than you're making. Like, so even if you're using something like Firebase, and Firebase could be free if you get no traffic. However, if you're doing something like external calls, like to an external API from a Firebase function, then you need to have the Blaze, and you're actually paying for, even then they changed that now. So the Blaze is pay as you go. They used to have this middle tier, which was like $25 a month, and now it just goes from what is it? Spark to Blaze, I think it is. I can't remember like this stuff. So, but I do. So the best niche to do a SaaS, I don't know. So I talked to a lot of companies that they could be in construction or in food production, and there's lots of things out there. And it's like, I don't know which one is best. Right? I think it would be what you could do, Vinay, is come up with some ideas and start approaching some of them. Use something like LinkedIn Sales Navigator and go to some of the heads of some of these companies and say, we are doing a SaaS that will help you. If it was food production, let's see, what could it be? Food production would be like delivery schedules or something like that. So we're producing a SaaS that will help you organize this kind of stuff. Would be something you'd be interested in. It's difficult to know because, like, if you're doing the niche means you have to like know the industry. If you do one for dentists, you have to know you have to know dentistry. If you're going to do one for like doctors, you have to know doctors. It's if you do something for teachers, you got to know what it's like to be a teacher or what other kind of problems that they suffer. So it's a difficult one. I wish I had an answer to that one, Vinay. Let's see. Gaming with Jake says, I'm responding to the how do I ask questions and he answers. Did I recognize the stream is delayed? The stream is, I don't even know what time it is yet. Like, okay, so right now I'm going to clap. No, it's not going to work. So right now for me, it's 17:53. So I don't know by the time you see that part, what time it'll be. Then you'll know the thing. So let's see. Google Ads. Shahaba says, have you ever used mechanical keyboard before? No, I haven't. They look cool though. That's the clackety clack clack ones, right? No, I haven't. I'm using the Apple one. I'm using the Apple one, which is okay. I've heard a lot of people complain about the Apple keyboards, but it's fine. Let's see. Shurjan says, what's the point of buying fake installs? They won't do any good to your app. It's like telling a lie to yourself and then believing it. Yeah, I guess if you did have like lots of installs, you maybe could rank better. But it is like I said, like my whole thing would be, if I went to bought fake installs, how do I know that they're gonna it could be like one IP address or through one building or whatever. Like there's so much that, Google has so much data that they'll be able to spot that kind of stuff. I just think, you can't fool Google. They just know too much. They know where you are. They know what you're doing. They know what you're searching for. They know everything about you. They know what looks suspicious because they have so much data, and you could, I just try to stay on the straight and narrow. Even when you stay on the straight and narrow, they'll get you for something. So you might as well stay on the straight and narrow. I agree with you, Shujin. I bought real installs from Google Advertising. Yeah, so in that case, I think release a new version. See if you can get them to do that. And thanks everyone. Thanks bros for smashing the like button. Matt Glover says my AdMob limit is finally removed. See, there you go. There. What did you do, Matt? Lots of new releasing. I even removed banner ads to see if it was causing a problem. Requests have flattened out, and AdMob seems happy with that. Flatten the requests. Oh, it's like flatten the curve. Yeah, are you showing too many ads? Maybe that. Yeah, because you could put the limit on the number of ads that you show. But what if the spike happens again? I would think try to limit your ads. You could either do it through AdMob or you could do it through your application and see if that makes a difference. Because it's difficult to say because I don't know how many ads are actually being shown. I only promoted an app with Google and then this limit appear. I found somebody find a solution by removing ad units, but when he created new ones, the limit appears again. HM Newman Ria says documentation demonstrating you have valid intellectual property rights must either be confirmation letter from the intellectual property rights holder or in the formal signature of the copy of the thing. Please update on this. So Newman sent me HM Newman sent me a Instagram message this morning. Let's see if I can actually sign in here so that we can look at it here. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, I appreciate the messages on Instagram. It's really difficult for me to answer because like HM Newman Riaz, I was in the gym this morning. Yeah, I was in the gym. I was pumping weights. I mean, I know. Did I mention I've just started going to the gym again? So I'm gonna keep driving. I like to casually drive. So yeah, I was just pumping some iron this morning when I read your message, and it was difficult for me to actually answer it. So let me see if I could try to switch accounts, log in. I'm gonna try to log in here, so we have a look at this message. Let's see. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't log in. Oh, we changed the password. Rowena changed the password, and I have it on my phone, but I don't have it on here. Let's see if I could. Okay. Oh, come on. All right. Oh, I can't do it. All right. Let's see if I can plug in my phone and we could do this. But yeah, HR Newman, this might be something where we need to do a consultancy time on this, but hopefully not. Let's see if we can get it on here. As I did say, let's have a look on the live stream. So let's see. Can I share my screen here? Okay, let's see. Check my messages. Newman. Okay, so Newman this morning got this message. Your account will soon be migrated to. Oh no, that was me. He got this message. So please provide documentation demonstrating that you have valid intellectual property rights. That must be either a confirmation letter from the intellectual property rights holder with a formal signature of the copy of the application. Now, Newman, what we need to do is we need to look at the application because I have no idea what that actual thing is that we're looking at. Like, what is the application? So let us know what that is, because right now what I'm looking at is something that says it thinks you're violating, you're using things that you don't have rights to do, and so it's difficult to know if we don't know what it is actually what we're looking at. So let us know what game or what application this actually is. Oh, sorry. Rodrigo says, yes, I noticed the video streak. Thanks, Rodrigo. I really also started going to the gym. Well done, Eric. Thanks, Rodrigo. Yeah, it was, like I said, I was like, dude, I'm not going to go, I was like, a few months ago, I did a video saying I cut my own hair. I was like, you know what? I'm never going to cut my own hair. I'm never going to go to a barbershop again. I'm self-sufficient. I'm going to start cutting my own hair. And then when the barbershop's open, I was like, you know what? They do a better job than I do. And then I've got my weight bench over here and my weights, and I could only lift like in each dumbbell I can only fit 25 kilograms. I only have 25 kilograms to put on them. So it was like benching with the dumbbells. I was like, in the end, I'm just doing the same thing, and I haven't worked out legs hardly at all because I hated doing that. I hated doing legs in the gym anyway. So yesterday I worked out legs, and then but it's been nice going back. And it's kind of weird because everybody's like on edge and they're like wiping everything down, and every time somebody uses them they wipe it down, and you want to make sure you wipe it down, which really we should have been doing anyway, because especially I sweat like, you guys see I sweat like more than an average person does. Let's see, Overpass, if you could code with Lua you could code Python. Def test function is just a function. It looked complicated to me. But yeah, I just and there's millions of custom user packages. I think Python has just been that thing. I think it's one of those things that I've just never gotten into. So it's been easy for me to go to. So the VB was the thing, like I said, I started with, and then going to C Sharp was like, that was kind of a leap because that's when we started. But you could use inheritance and polymorphism and everything with Visual Basic, but like you didn't have to, right? You just would do whatever, right? And then when it was going into C Sharp, it was like everything's an object and all this stuff. And it was basically Java. And I took a course on Java as well, way back in the day. And it was kind of, some things like you got the string buffer or the string builder, like things were just so similar between the two of them, right? And then JavaScript, of course, I use JavaScript all the time, and you could do a lot, but syntactically they're very similar. And even I find that even Dart is very similar to those. But when it comes to something like Python and Lua, they're just like, it's just, and even what's the one, Ruby on Rails was one where I did a little bit of that, and it was like it was too like and C++, Objective C, right? It's just too far outside my comfort zone to really get very good at it. I mean, I know I could if I focused, right? If I made something of myself, like if I probably could, but let's see. Shurjan says, Adrian Minecraft, I'm sure that limitation is because something else and not because you advertise your app. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it depends. Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's what I would do is if it's been your app's been, let's see. Yeah, I mean, just appeal it, I think. MDev says, Eric, what about taxes? How do you manage taxes in your country? Do you mean just in general? So it's God, my accountant asked me for something this week. I haven't given it to her yet. I have an accountant, right? So on the Apple side, Apple handles all the taxes and stuff like that. You don't have access to the end user. You don't have individual receipts for everybody, right? You just get paid by Apple, right? It's different on the Apple side. On the Google Play side, I think advertising is classified as it's not vatable. I think so. My AdMob is okay, but when it comes to actual in-app purchases, I do have to like download the financial reports every month or every 3 months when they do the VAT, and send those off to my accountant. And they hate that because they got to do it for all the different countries. If I had to do it myself, I probably would not do in-app purchases, but that is something that they do. So it's definitely something. And so it is something we have to do. Let's see. NM Newman Riaz says, documentation demonstrating Amazon app updates, how to submit document on the App Store. I think what we should do is reply to that email. I don't think you need to, reply to the email. Have you, NM Newman, have you replied to that email asking them? Let's see. Gilham says, some dating apps like Tinder and Bumble bypass Google method of payment and propose direct card payments. It is so unfair to all other developers. Yeah, like something like, I think the thing is if it's a digital good, let's see. I've used Tinder and I've used Bumble, and I have made purchases, and I have done them through in-app purchases. But I think the whole thing is, wasn't the big thing with the Epic thing that they could get it cheaper if they went to the website. I think if they were to keep it the same price on both, then maybe that wouldn't have been an issue. But let's see. A Drown says, I never got a single cent removed for invalid activity. I really don't know what else should be the problem. My AdMob advertised my app. There was a big spike in requests. I'm using Mediation Appodeal. So you're going through AdMob. Have you asked Appodeal about it? So Appodeal might have a bit more information on it too. If Google support is really difficult to get to. Epic Games just want to get a better deal with Apple and Google. There are so many other players in the store that could have made a better deal with 30%. So this is the end game for them. I don't know, Shurjan, because they could have easily, very quietly gone to Apple and Google and said, we want better terms, right? They could have. This is what I keep coming back to. Like, I was watching a podcast, like some business podcast, and they were talking about it, and they said, what they, what they should have done was taken them aside and said, we make all this money for you, we want better rates, right? But then what I like is the way they publicly did it, right? They could have just, they could have done that, and maybe they have, and they did. It was not successful, right? But what I like to think is that they were thinking about the system as a whole rather than getting a better deal for themselves. Because I'm sure they didn't have to create that ad. I'm sure they could have just gone to them and said, okay, we're going to remove it if you don't do it, and we'll tell everybody that it's because it's too expensive to run it here. And they were talking about Fortnite, like going around the App Store and all this kind of stuff, but there was like no way to do it. And like, because I mean, months ago they were talking about having being able to have their whatever enterprise distribution certificates and being able to actually have people go in and bypass the App Store altogether. But Apple has that monopoly. It's their platform, and they're not going to budge on that. But I mean, I see Epic Games. I think they could have got a better deal. I think if they'd done it quietly, I bet they could have got a better deal. But they did it publicly, so now Apple can't give them a better deal because they've basically And I think it's great that they could have easily just said, look, I'm sure they got enough clout that they could have got a senior executive in Apple to discuss these things with. Let's see. Ledistic says, can you do some live videos where you video chat with your fans through Google Meet for 10 minutes tops for each person? You can talk to more people. Yeah, we talked about that before. I need to figure out how to do that and how I can stream it at the same time. Let's see. Gaming with Jake says, JavaScript, the new HTML? I don't know what that means. JavaScript. HTML is HTML. Let's see. Gilham says, making an app for clients or making your own apps. What would you pick if you both were profitable? Making your own apps. Sorry, did I answer that too quickly? If it would be your own, what is the challenge you don't manage to overcome? It's really just, so it's all about the risk, Gilham. So when a client comes to you and they have an app idea, right? They're paying for it. It's their risk, right? And so whenever somebody comes to you and says, I'll tell you what, let's go 50-50 on it. And it's like, no, that sounds like I do all the work and you just come up with the ideas, right? It is a case of, it's your idea, you're putting on the App Store, you're taking that risk that it's going to be profitable, right? When I create my own applications, I'm taking the risk that it's profitable. I'm taking, I'm putting my money on the line, right? So when somebody pays you to create an app for them, they're taking the risk, and that you're going to get paid for it, right? It's like, I don't need to worry about whether or not who the audience is, if there's a market. I don't need to worry about if the advertising is good. I just needed to make sure that it works the way that we said it was going to work, the way that we agreed that it's going to work on. So that's it. But if both were profitable, definitely I would create my own apps. There's like nothing better than creating your own applications and just being able to make money from them, right? It's like, all right, now I'm kind of in a slump in terms of the revenue, but yeah, definitely. If both were profitable, like if you knew with 100% certainty that your app was going to work, like if I had an app idea that I thought, I am so certain that this is going to work, right? And by the way, no business has ever been 100% certain. But like if I was like 100% certain, definitely I would do it. I would invest in it. But that's the reason why you pick what what you're gonna what you're actually gonna do. So let's see. Let's see. HM Newman says, a person in live chat that publish app on Amazon stores. Sorry, I might not. I don't quite get that. Newman, HM Newman. Let's see. A Drown Minecraft says, anything I can do to get my AdMob back on track. I think you limit the ads. Maybe that would be one thing. Leveling out the ads, as Matt said. And people on Reddit are waiting months to got some limit feedback. Have you tried it with Appadeal, right? Because if you're going through Appadeal and your AdMob ads are going through them, maybe they have some sort of feedback on that. Rodrigo says, everyone hit the like button. Yeah, everyone hit the like button. Thanks very much. Let's see. No, you. Let's see. Gaming with Jake. Why don't you have 1 million subs? Well, I could easily have 1 million subs, but I just choose not to. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It would be cool to have 1 million subs. Actually, it would be cool to have 1 million subs. I'm trying to think, only once. So we got what, 32,500, right? I've been doing videos since 2014, right? Only once has somebody ever recognized me. I was at an AdMob conference. It was Tom, and he says, "Have I seen a video you've been in?" I said, "Yeah, I've done a few of those, right?" And that was kind of cool. But I don't know, so. Gaming with Jake, you know what I really want? I want the silver play button. I want something to hang on my wall because I need stuff on the wall in my new bachelor pad, right? I don't need it because I need the button. I don't need it for the adoration. I just need it because I need decoration. But no, I appreciate that. Thanks. Y'all just kidding. Techway Koo. Hey, Eric, how's it going? Techway Koo. Let's see. Gaming away. Something confusing in Python. You can't add a string with an int, but you can with Lua. Yeah, you can do a lot. I mean, when you have strongly typed languages, you do have to do the toString thing. Let's see. Eric, you spelled Overpass name wrong in the title. Did I? Did I? Geez, yeah, well, yeah, sometimes I try a little bit. I'll fix it later. Yeah, you know what? I didn't even realize. I can't see the title from where I am right now. But have I done it? Have I spelled it wrong? Sometimes I'll do Overpass, like just because I'm typing too quickly. David Maraba says, "Hi Eric, hey, how's it going? Have you used Facebook Audience Network before?" Yes, I have, but I didn't really get. I've like one of the people who's always here on the live stream, John. He's doing really well with Facebook Audience Network. He's like, dude, you gotta leave AdMob and go to Facebook Audience Network. But when I did it, I didn't have a whole lot of success with it. However, and the only reason I haven't done it, like, because he was what he said was so compelling was like because I have so many applications and you have to set up the project for each one of those the Facebook project for each one of those. That I didn't want to go through and do that, but it might be something to do. So. I've done it a little bit. I didn't have a whole lot of success with it, but I think it's probably, that was a few years ago. So who else out there is using Facebook Audience Network? I mean, and how are you doing? Legend Shopper says, "Sir, which is the best country for games ads? Are you talking about making money through games? I don't really know the answer, but I think just if you're talking about revenue for applications, it's I think the U.S. is probably the biggest one. Like my RPMs have always been much higher in the U.S. And India has always been really low. Dev Crew says games versus apps, freemium versus premium, IAP versus rewarded ads, native versus game engine like Unity, etc. Okay, let's go. First one, games versus apps. I like apps, but it's up to you. I've never been mainly because I'm not a gamer. Years ago, I read about an article talking about how doing a nice utility app increases the value of the user's phone, so they're willing to pay a bit more money than they are for a game where you have so much competition out there. So I like to do apps myself, plus they're easier to code. Games are funner to code, but it's like I'm not a hardcore gamer, so for me it doesn't. But again, a lot of the biggest revenue earners out there are games. So yeah, I think it's like it depends on what you want to do and what your skills are. Premium versus freemium. I've always gone the freemium one where we've had like the free with in-app purchases to upgrade. I always do two versions. I do the full paid version, the premium version, and I do the free version with in-app purchases, which is basically a variable inside called is full, and you just set that in the when they make that in-app purchase so that they both become identical, except maybe if the icon's a little bit different, the icon might be a little bit different, but they're kind of the same thing. So, but I've also talked to people who've had just a premium one and they're using Facebook. They're using Facebook ads and are actually able to go through and advertise these applications and get that revenue in because people are willing to pay that, and they don't have to compete with themselves because they also have a free version of the same app there. And finally, in-app purchases versus rewarded ads. If you've ever done rewarded ads, you'll know that in-app purchases, they don't pay as well as they say they do. And in-app purchases, you'll make a lot more through in-app purchases. Native versus game engine like Unity, etc. I think Unity because you can go cross-platform. That's my opinion on those. But let's see. 100 people is watching. You got more and more famous. I don't think it's. I see there's 33. I don't know if we're seeing the same numbers here, but if you are 100 people here, welcome everybody. Welcome to my flat. Welcome to my apartment. I don't know if I have enough chairs for everybody, but we're gonna try. Let's see. 95 plus people watching. Really? I think maybe the algorithm might be off. But yeah. So by the way, if you're new here, we did this earlier. Just say "Sup, bro," just so we know you're here. Or no. Say where you are actually watching from. So if you're watching from England, say, whatever town it is. If you're watching from wherever you are, that's always fun to do that. So we see how many people we got from around the world. Gaming Widget says, wow, 111. Let's see. App404 says, apply for verification on Instagram. So I've been trying to get the Instagram up. I've been doing Instagram for like last few years. And I'm trying to do more stories so I can share like the little things about the, just stuff that I don't think is like important enough to do a video. And, and I know I've been showing off a lot of gym shots. Yo, what's up, bro? It's me. I'm lifting. I'm hardcore lifting in the gym. But yeah, so we had like 580 followers on like Instagram for like 4 years. Like no matter how much I do, I'm just not very good at the Instagram stuff. So I'm trying to do more stuff on the Instagram Overpass app. So you noticed last couple of videos, I did put like an outro where I put the story on there. So you can see that there is something there. In the old days, I did Snapchat all the time. And that was fun, right? Just to do a story, right? After 24 hours, it's gone. I can say anything embarrassing I can. Like if I've got like spinach in my teeth, it doesn't matter because it'll be gone. But I don't know how to apply for verification. I've only got 580 people on there, I think, or something like that. Pala says, in using subscriptions to monetize your game, getting more popular? I don't know if I understand. Is using subscriptions to monetize your game getting more popular? I don't. Yeah, definitely using subscriptions is getting more popular, where people are more accepting of that kind of thing. I see it in applications all the time. The new one that a friend sent to me this week was the Face app. I don't know if you guys have seen that, where you have the it's kind of like the machine learning facial thing where it swaps your face with somebody else's face. By the way, and everybody who's watching, if you hit the like button, will know that you're really there and not phantom people just who don't do that. You could hit the dislike button too, but don't do that. Come on, don't be that way. Let's see. Adrian says, I think Facebook Audience Network ads are showing only to people with Facebook account. I'm getting low fill rate, but the eCPMs are good. This is exactly what I was finding. So I was finding that because I had a lot of my users were like in Brazil and Thailand, and I don't think Facebook was that well spread there. But yeah, I think you're right. Let's see. Graham Knight. Hey, Graham, how's it going? Yo, from Ontario. Thought I'd missed y'all. I'm glad you made it on time. Oh, it's 20 past. Thank you so much, sir. Hey, no problem. If you tell us where the app, well, I guess you can't look at the app. Is it on Google Play also? Papa says, yes, it is getting more popular. Python and Lua are similar, says Gaming with Jake. I don't know, but I look at Python, it doesn't look the same. but yeah, I suppose you're right. Roughneck 718 says, thank you for what you do. No problem. Should I get an iMac or keep my mid 2015 MacBook Pro for iOS coding? It depends. So I've got this new beast of a machine here, right? And it was like I had a 2013 MacBook Pro, and it was, I probably could have kept going with it. It kept running out of disk space. And I probably could have kept going with it if I'd, gone through and cleared down, like if I got rid of those unnecessary things that take up so much disk space, like, Android Studio, right? If I gone through and like removed, which I use every day, or all the, the Android SDKs. If I gone through and cleared some of that stuff down, then it probably could have done better. But when I was doing video editing, it was getting really slow. I don't know. So this iMac, I also want to just have like a computer that was, because I never for the most part, I never took my MacBook Pro anywhere, right? And it was bulky anyway. So I would never take it anywhere. So it was pretty much like a desktop computer. I had 3 monitors connected, or 2 monitors connected to it. So it was 3 monitors all together. And I just kind of wanted something that was beefy. So the nice thing about the new iMacs is you can get up to like 128 gigs of RAM in it. So this one has 72 gigs. So it came with 8 gigs, which is like the lowest, in 2 4-gig sticks. So I got two 32 gigabyte sticks and put it in there. So I have 72 gigabytes, which is like when I'm editing videos now, it's like bam, right? I haven't been doing videos as much either, but it's kind of nice to do that. It's nice, but it's not, I don't think it was necessary, but it does. You can use it, like if you're using it all day, it might be worth it doing it roughneck. It depends on really, like, so for doing that, I mean, you need a Mac to do iOS coding. You could do the Hackintosh way, but then like, I always fear that Mac's going to pull the rug out, Apple's going to pull the rug out from underneath me if I get an iMac or a Hackintosh rather. But I really wanted something that was just like, I wanted a beast of a machine. I wanted something that would have like a ridiculous amount of memory in it and a disk space. I've got a gigabyte of internal disk space. I've got an external hard drive with another 8 gigs. I have a couple external hard drives actually. And so most of the stuff I transfer over to there, but I think it's nice. It is nice. I don't know. It depends. I don't know if it hasn't really changed the way I work very much, except for the fact that I'm not waiting so much for stuff to open. Graham says, hey, Eric, internal business apps, generally, Android or iOS? It depends, right? Actually, for internal, generally, if they're only one of them, generally it's Android, because like they're going to supply the Android devices to them, and Android is cheaper, right? It's I have one client that was just iOS, and it was a small company, and they had iPads, but they already had those existing. I mean, if I was going to recommend it to a company that said we want to have like something that our employees can use, and we're happy to go and purchase them, I would say Android, because you go for the lowest common denominator. Right? You can get an Android device for 50 pounds or $50, right? And just make sure that it's if the specs are high enough, right? If it's only running your application. So we've got some where I've got a client who they're using an Android phone, not as a phone. It's just like as a GPS device, right? It's a GPS and reporting back device, and they wanted the screen and everything. It was just cheaper. It's cheaper for them to do that and connect to all these other Bluetooth devices and get the readings. And it's like, it's not even a phone. It's just it's a thing that does it. And that's like, we go for the lowest common denominator, right? We can do Android 4.2 or whatever. Go on eBay and get a bunch of them for really cheap. But yeah, so it kind of depends. Gaming with Jake says email. Dev Crew says, you mean you sent me an email? So this is something I should be looking at. This over here. So let's see. Yeah, I don't want to share my emails on the screen. But if let's see. Dev Crew says, what's next? Claim consoles have a monopoly on their ecosystem too. Yeah. I don't know. We do lack competition. Like, we got Android and Google. Imagine if we didn't have Android. Imagine if we didn't have Android. Imagine if it's still Apple running the show, which is what they would have wanted to do to begin with. I think, and what really bothered me when Microsoft Store came out was that you had to pay to have for the developer program. The cost of the developer program, I think, was still $100, right? It was like they're all copying each other's models, right? We needed somebody to come in and say they have a new system and they're actually going to change the others. So like Android did a lot to improve iOS, through competition, and iOS. So that, but that 30% thing, that's not budging until somebody gets competitive on it. Phil, ciao, Eric, Curly, and Brittany, France. Oh, nice. I hope all is well. Okay, back to dinner on the beach. Nice. Do you have to quarantine? Are you coming back? Are you there on holiday? iPhones with Fortnite on it are selling for thousands. Oh, really? Shujin says, Eric, don't underestimate the power of publicity. Epic Games is now the good guys in this case, although they make $1 billion a year in revenue. I know. To me, they seem like the good guys, and maybe I'm just giving them more credit than they're worth. Rodrigo says, Apple has a special deal with Amazon for less than 30%. Others want the same. Once it starts, it never stops. This will be good for us. I think if they keep it public, I think it's a good thing. Also, the stores make billions and only spend a few bucks to keep the servers up. Yeah, it's not like, if they gave you like, they just have to host it. Like, it's like, if you had an FTP site where you just like had the download speed, the download whatever things. So Apple's taking $300 million from Epic Games from 30% cut. It's a lot of money, and therefore they want to cut out Apple. I agree. I mean, yeah. Also, Spotify also made a video a few years ago. Did they? The Spotify was a bit different. It's about Apple self-promoting Apple Music and other sharing platforms, plus the 30% cut. Oh, yeah. Spotify is worse situation because Apple Music is their competitor and they still get 30% of the cut. Cool. 70% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Fortnite got greedy and it made over 34 million in IAP last month. Yeah, see, Bart, this is where I keep getting on the fence because like every time somebody, God, I'm so wishy-washy. Every time somebody makes a good point, I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's true also, right? 30% is a lot, but they did create the platform, right? And it is, now if they were to say, okay, now we're raising it to 35% or 40%, if they were to raise it, then that would be, and then those of us who had invested in that ecosystem going into it, knowing about that 30%, then it would be unfair. But we kind of all knew that when we went in. Pava says, there are good games that use subscription are there good ways to monetize their game? In terms of games, I don't know about games, but I know like lots of applications use subscription. Like a lot of the facial recognition ones do. I've got some gym apps that use subscription. But I don't know. I don't know about games because I don't use very many. Shuja says, my spelling is bad. Sorry. No, that's all right. Ben Lamptey. Hey, Ben, how's it going? Do you design your own apps or get a designer to design? Definitely, I get a designer. If so, what do you use to design? I don't do the design myself. In fact, if I try to do the design myself, it looks awful. It looks like wannabe clip art. Like, it's not even good enough to be clip art if I design it myself. So I did design the EarSpy logo myself, but it was just basic shapes. It was just like, circle, whatever. It was just basic stuff. But I do think, like, I've had the same designer I've been working with since 2014. Sandy, and she's my go-to person. She so we just, like, if I give something to her, I can give something to her and give just very minimal like specifications on it, saying I want it to kind of have this kind of feel, whatever. And she'll come back and like a couple hours later, how about this? And I'm like, yeah, that's good, but can you change this a little bit? And they're like, how about this? All right, and it's just like, it's perfect because we're like on the same wavelength. And it was like, like everything changed when she joined the business. Like, in fact, when I talk to clients, right, when we're like speccing something, if she does like a design, so I've actually had clients say, oh, now we're excited about this. Like, because before it was like, oh, you sure you could do it? Because you could have the worst spaghetti code. Your code could look like crap. It could be like even a little bit buggy. It could be like non-performant. But if it looks good, they give you the benefit of the doubt a lot more. And I know that's terrible to say that, but it just is. As coders, we have to make sure the code looks good and it's performant and it's scalable and all that kind of stuff. But the end users, they don't necessarily see that, but they will see that icon in those screenshots. But so yeah, I've worked with the same designer. I've also tried, Ben. I've tried to do like designers where I get from Upwork, and it was such a mixed bag. Like there was one really good designer I worked with who did some cartoon stuff for me years ago, and that worked well. But then I had to get like some running sprites for another part of this game, and I got a guy in the Philippines who said, yeah, he could do sprites, and it was just awful. It took him forever. Nothing looked right. Everything, the sprites were not even fluid. I don't even think he knew what sprites were, but it's like, oh yeah, I know I could do that, right? So in the end, when I got a designer that I like and can work with, everything works great. And I think she was doing the sprites through Flash. If we talk about Flash, and actually exporting them as image GIFs, so we could do those, and that kind of worked better because she could see the animation flow like without having to actually give it to me and me actually compiling it and everything. So let's see. What did I say? Fistable says not having 1 million subs is like a smoker not willing to quit smoking. You can do it, but you don't want to. I know. I'm gonna keep doing what I do, right? It's not, 32,000 people, 32,500 people have subscribed to this channel, right? I can remember when nobody was subscribed to this channel. I can remember I was just doing the videos and nobody was watching. And I think Rodrigo was one of the first people to start watching. It's just what you do. That's what you keep doing, right? I'm gonna keep doing it, right? If it was, I know some people they start early and then they have like a viral one and then they try to capitalize on that success by keep doing stuff like that. And all I could do is just be honest and open and talk about what it's like to do what we do and what's on my mind. And if I was trying to go clickbait on it, if I try to go clickbaity, then, where does that lead me? But yeah, I know. Yeah, lots of people are trying to do the YouTube thing, and I'm good. But I appreciate everybody watching, and I appreciate everybody who smashed that like button today too. Yeah, for my new stuff. So, Eric, if you need decoration for the wall, I can send Jimeo logo to put up. Shameless promotion. So I have thought about putting. I've got that logo, the Overpass logo. I had a poster in the old office, and I thought about putting that up in the living room. And then I thought, actually. Well, I thought about it. I said, because I do the Zoom meetings in here, maybe it'd be good to have the logo on the wall behind me. But then there's also that kind of, I want this to be kind of like the smooth bachelor pad where I have like mood lighting and like Luther Vandross playing in the background and come on in. How's it going? Right. So I kind of want to have like some nice art on the walls, and it doesn't quite go with the whole Overpass thing. So it's like, which way do I want to go with this? And that's what I'm kind of one of the things. So I have thought about putting my logo on there. Let's see. Rodrigo, you're missing an S. Oh, on the name. There are a few good names to use in your subscription as a way to monetize. Are there any good games that use? Pava, you've asked this question several times. Have I not? Have you tried streaming on Twitch? No, CEO of Swag. I haven't, because I think it's one. Twitch is more for games, isn't it? I'm like just I don't know if I'm cool enough to stream on Twitch. I was literally looking at my Facebook audience network stats after years of not looking. Oh, how's it look? Billy says 36 people watching now. I think that might have been, yeah, it's about normal. Fisto says, sup, bro, Algeria. Billy's watching from Canada. Hey, I didn't know you were in Canada. Sup, bro, Denmark. Cool. Jake is watching from hell. Oh my God, it must be so hot. I'm complaining about sweating here. My God. Rodrigo says, in my opinion, Instagram is not a good bet. You should publish to YouTube stories or TikTok, and TikTok is another beast. So I was going to use, okay, you guys tell me, would YouTube stories be a good thing to do? Because I did a couple YouTube stories, and the first thing I got was somebody saying, please stop doing YouTube stories. I had to unsubscribe if you do YouTube stories. I'm not, but because it shows up in the app or whatever. But yeah, I was doing YouTube stories for a little bit. Like one day I did it until somebody said, please don't do YouTube stories because then I'll have to unsubscribe from you. I thought, oh, maybe it's an annoying thing. So I could do YouTube stories. Let's see. Oh, Gaming with Jake. Gaming with Jake from hell says, coming from hell because you just said, you're looking at Python packages, just sit down and watch a tutorial. Trust me. 73 people. I think we're seeing 77 now. I think we're seeing different stuff. Are people joining at different times? Is it like showing up on some people's homepages and they're saying, who the hell is this idiot? And you're looking out and think, what the hell is he talking about? Python, what's that? 84, 86. Cool, thank you. No problem, Roughneck. 72 gigs of RAM. If you could install Xcode and Android Studio on the RAM if you wanted to. You probably could. 101 people watching, 108. Yes. Let's see. Billy and Gaming with Jake. We see all that watching now. No need to stand chat about it. I can't see any of that. I see 32 people watching. Now 110 watching. Yes. Differs from about 30. Let's see. I've never seen this many people watching before. Let's have a party in your apartment. Yeah, we should. Everybody, welcome. I've never sent an email. Never email. I'm 13. Code of Python fluently than a year. You can do it. Thanks, Gaming with Jake. I appreciate it. Dev Crew says native apps or cross-platform framework, and which? I think cross-platform framework. I still like cross-platform framework, but if you go native, you're going to have no problems, right? The problem with cross-platform framework is that you're dependent on somebody else than not the main one. So like iOS 14 is going to make this change with the IDFA stuff with AdMob, and you could go to AdMob and download the SDK and bam, you're done, right? But if you're going through like Unity or Corona or React Native, whatever, you got to wait for somebody who does that plugin to update that, and hopefully they'll do it. And if they don't, then you're kind of screwed. Ben says, thanks for the info. Mind sharing Sandy's info. If that's not allowed, do you know where I can find decent designers? So I hired Sandy as a full-time developer. So she works on my team. She's from the Philippines. There's a site called onlinejobs.ph. And I'm going to get an affiliate link or something for that at some point. But yeah, until I do, check out onlinejobs.ph. But that's like more for freelance, part-time and freelance people who do want them on a permanent team. Eric Gutierrez, California. California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Black gold, Texas tea. No, Hills, that is. Swimming pool, movie stars. Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed, poor mountaineer. Okay. TikTok is risky business at the moment. I keep seeing the Gary Vaynerchuk stuff on TikTok. And I think, okay, we need to do stuff on TikTok. And then and I want to do more videos on LinkedIn also. Although LinkedIn is much more, it's just so corporate. It's just so corporate. And I thought about TikTok, and I went on TikTok. I downloaded TikTok months ago, last year. I'm looking and think, what the hell is this? So I don't know if I'm quite the way there. So let's see. I'm unsubscribe if you don't do YouTube stories now. Okay, I'll do YouTube stories. That'll be fun to do YouTube stories because nobody's going. None of you guys are going over to Instagram, are you? And it does make sense that YouTube is where everybody is. Seems like cheesy, greasy pizza time. Oh God, it is. Let's see. What are your best tips to increase revenue per user through in-app purchase? Through the in-app purchase, the revenue per user. Revenue per user through in-app purchase is just the price that you're charging them, right? If people aren't actually doing the in-app purchases, you need to ask yourself, is it too expensive? Or are they just not the kind of people who purchase? Or do they even know it exists, right? Are you making it are you constantly reminding them that feature still exists? Gaming with Jake says, yes, the delay is gone. Have a nice weekend. Fist up was have a nice weekend. And everyone, I'm going to have to get going here because it's getting late. Neurologic Tech says, it's getting bad reviews. I don't know why. Oh, did I miss something here? My iPhone calculator app. Oh, is it? Let's have a look. We looked at this a couple weeks ago, didn't we? I know, but I do need to. So we're going to wrap it up here really quick. So Rohit says it's getting late, which is true. So the last thing I'm going to look at is can you have a look? Explain the do's and don'ts. How do's work, like what it does after the packet is sent. Explain how do's work. How does it work like after the packet is sent? Graham later. Matthew Creek says, any way to lower the use of an API without using it more? To lower the use of an API without using it more, you could try to cache the data locally. So what I do is I'll do if I'm using an API and I don't want to do it too often, I will store a local thing the last time you checked, and then you can say, use the local data unless it's over an hour old. So you keep a manifest of when was the last time you checked the data. If the hour is more than an hour old, then at that point, get the new data. If that's what you mean. Let's take a look at one last time my iPhone calculator app, and then I'm going to eat some nasty, greasy, fattening, disgusting pizza, and then you know, to counteract all that awful experience of going to the gym today. So it was my calculator, iPhone calculator. Oh, I think let's see, neural rhythmic. Here we go. So you get a bunch of bad reviews. I don't see any. I don't see too many. Oh, actually, let's have a look. Make the size a little bit bigger, like an iPhone. I don't see that many bad ones. It sounds like the people who are leaving reviews are leaving ratings. They're not leaving reviews. So you have, oh, you only have 28. So I want to be too. Yeah, I mean, try to get that up. This doesn't look too bad to me. All right, so let's see. Graham later, straight from Python. Using it less, I mean. How do you do that? I think hopefully, using the API less? You cache the data locally, I think is really what you do. What's your email RQ? If you send something to info at Overpass, it goes to Rowena, and then I don't yeah, my email I get people complain that did you see that email I sent this morning? I get like hundreds, like nearly 1,000 emails every day, and that's not to the spam folder. That's just like to my thing. So I have Rowena, my assistant. She'll go through and process those. So if you send to the info one, then if it's she'll get it to me. Anyway, so that's it for this week. Thanks everyone for joining this week's live stream. I am starving. I am sweaty. I am disgusting. I am a mess. Thanks everyone for smashing that like button. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for just being you. Anyway, we'll do this again next week. I got a video going out on Monday. I'll try to do some of these Instagram stories because that will be fun, but don't complain when I do. And everybody have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again next time.